Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Slow Run Cast, your video game podcast by two anti-speedrunners. We take our time playing the games we love, if we even have time to play them. I am one of your hosts, Muhammad Ali, the Iraqi Balboa, joined by my friend, co-host, PR breaking, bench pressing, heavy lifting. What else is there? I need an actual proper title for you. The Derwinator! Derwin Luke, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good. Pretty long week.
Yeah,
Even
man,
though it was like a long weekend for us the past
it was a
weekend.
long weekend here in Canada. Thanksgiving Day on Monday. I needed the time off, man. I've been working every Saturday for like the last 5-6 weeks, and 3 days off was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it still didn't feel like it was long enough, though. It's always like that.
Not enough time to play the games we love, right? That's the whole idea of this podcast, man. So then we spend even more gaming time making a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's called balance.
That's how it is, man. That's how it is. So, man, we was a relatively middle kind of news week, but we did get one big thing. We'll jump right into it, and that is the Xbox Partner Preview. That was last Thursday, I think it was Thursday, the 18th. Yeah, so it was about half an hour. Partner games. Some of them come in a Game Pass. I believe 5 coming in the Game Pass day one.
Yeah,
But we had a total of like what?
there
12, 16 games. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so, I mean, we could jump right into the list. I want to get your kind of thoughts because we didn't really have time to sit and talk too much about it. So, first one, they started off with that Alan Wake 2 DLC coming out this Tuesday. Today is the 20th, so the 22nd. Yeah.
for
It's kinda
PS5
spooky.
and Xbox. So
Yep.
we saw like bits and pieces of it on
Yeah,
the PS5. What's it
They
called?
showed a sneak peek on the PS5
Showcase, yeah.
State of Place. Yeah. Yeah, that was about a month ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think my thoughts have changed for this one much. I mean,
You're
I'm
not
a
gonna
little
hop into
pussy.
Alan Wake 2? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
The only
It looks
way I'll
so
play.
good, man. It looks so good. That game makes me want to buy a freaking 4090 and just like get the biggest beefy GP computer and literally like look at all the
And play it.
rays. Yeah. 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 So you're not sold on Alan Wake. You're not gonna go and play the base
I
game.
know it's a good game.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can sit through it.
Yeah. I mean, I pre-ordered the physical. Like, I didn't buy Alan Wake when it came out in protest to the lack of physical. And then when Sam Lake at the Summer Games Fest comes out on stage and he's like, "We're gonna make a physical for you guys," I pre-ordered that right away. So that comes out Tuesday. So it comes with the base game, with the other DLC that came out this summer,
Yeah.
and with this DLC. Right? Comes with all 3 of them, and then it also comes with a free copy of, well, I don't know if it's a free copy if you're paying $110 for this package, but it's for the Alan Wake remastered. Now, I have not done my homework. I said I was going to do my homework before this game comes out.
Yeah.
I was going to play the first Alan Wake. I haven't done
Well,
my
now
homework
you can
yet.
play the remastered.
So yeah, well, I don't know. Do I play the remastered first? Do I hop right into Alan Wake 2? I don't know.
So how
We'll
are you
see.
gonna play all like 2 of these games?
How am I gonna
plus
play? How
2
am I gonna play
DLCs?
Alan Wake remastered, Alan Wake 2 DLCs, and try to play Silent Hill 2? And yeah, I don't know, man. Lots of games, too many games.
Yeah.
But yeah. I'm still excited for it. I'll get to it eventually.
All right.
Moving along and staying in the same kind of mood, we have Chronic: The New Dawn, another survival horror game, and that is from Bloober Team, who last week just released Silent Hill 2 to critical and presumably it sounds like commercial success. Silent Hill 2 remake. And so these guys were like right into it right away. A week or two later, they're like, "Here you go. We're making another survival horror game, new IP, our own little project." So what do you think about this one? I don't know. I thought it looked a little Dead Spacey.
Oh
Callisto
yeah.
Protocol-y,
Yeah, apparently. So I was reading up on it a little bit, and it's there's some time traveling in between the past and future, and it's set in Poland.
Oh,
So
because they're a Polish developer, I believe. Bloober Team, they're a Polish
yeah,
developer.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that will be kind of interesting to see. This one doesn't look as bad in terms of horror wise versus Alan
Oh,
Wake 2.
bro, horror is good, not bad. So you're saying
For
it doesn't
me, for
look it
me.
doesn't look like it's handicapping horror where you can't even it's too oppressive, you don't even wanna play it. No, I agree with you, actually. Sometimes I find, like, some horror games, if the environment is too oppressive, if it's too heavy, it's like, I don't wanna play this. It's gotta be just in a
Yeah.
right spot where you kinda feel like, I wanna be in this world, but I also don't wanna.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's a higher chance I'll actually like play
Ooh.
through the whole thing for this one. And it does look interesting. Um
Yeah, this one's 2025, they said, but you know how that is in this video game world, doesn't mean anything.
yeah, I mean chances of
2025,
it
no.
getting pushed back is, pretty high. This
Yeah,
is the first announcement, so
yeah,
we all remember some other previous first amount announcements.
exactly.
Could be 7 years, who knows?
Oh, I hope not, bro, that's development hell. The CEO, not the CEO, I don't know, one of the lead, the studio head for Bloober Team, basically, like, they were talking about this game with him, they're interviewing him, talking about, Silent Hill 2 remake, and he's basically like, "We're done making bad games. We're only gonna make good games now." I don't think they made. I know their games like this Silent Hill 2's kind of pushed them into a new limelight,
Yeah.
but their older games like the Medium Absolver. No, what's it called? Not Absolver. Observer. Yeah, like the I've heard those are pretty like well respected. Maybe not as much as like the Silent Hill 2 remake. They really blew it out of the park with that, but I mean, good for them, man. I'm looking forward to this. It's literally in the vein of things that interest me. So this
Yeah.
one's high up on my radar for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely one of the highlights of the Xbox partner preview
agree.
for sure.
Yeah. Number 3, we got Blind Fire, which early access is open for right now. That is the first person shooter game where there seems to be some type of like light gimmick where you're in the dark.
Yeah,
I don't know.
some
You're supposed to
invisibility happening.
Yeah. Yeah, you're basically in pitch black, and I guess maybe you're supposed to play with headphones on, presumably, and use your hearing to hear motion from enemy. It sounds like it's a multiplayer game. You hear motion from
Yeah.
enemies, and then you open fire. You could see like the flashes from your muzzle, but after you stop firing, everything goes black again. That's kind of the vibe I got from it. I didn't follow too much up on it.
Yeah,
What do you think?
did you download the early preview to try or
No, I didn't. I didn't. I usually don't do early accesses. It's like
Yeah,
give me the
same.
game when it's complete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't want to see anything janky. I don't want to like,
Yeah, yeah.
deal with any of the weirdness to it. Um I'm not sold on this.
Mm.
I know that you were more excited about it than I was, but
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like to me it's like it looks like a fun game I could kill like 2 weeks with the boys playing multiplayer,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. I don't think it has like the legs of a Call of Duty, but definitely
Mhm.
kind of at least caught my
Yeah,
attention.
the thing that stood out to me the most was just the movement animations. It was kind of cool. The stages kind of look like laser tag
It
stages.
did.
Did
I
you
did
notice
get
that?
that vibe. I did get that vibe for sure. Yeah. 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 I don't know. We'll see how it goes, man. I haven't heard anything of the early access yet. Is it an open or closed? Like
I
a closed
assumed it was
beta? Is it
open
wait, no,
if
it's
they were
were there like was it a pre-order thing or I don't
pre-order
know.
for a game that just got announced. I don't know.
I don't know. Blind maybe it's a free I imagine maybe it's a free to play.
Yeah, it probably is a free one, especially if it's new IP like this.
Yeah. I don't know. On
They don't want to
Steam.
Oh, actually, I guess Concord did have did
Yeah.
have a
Or
open
early
weekend
access.
beta or something like that.
No, this is $12 on Steam right
Yeah,
now. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see, I'm sure.
yeah. I
Yeah, you
mean,
could
if
play it
you're
right now.
interested,
$12 play right now. Yeah. I don't know why they're calling it early access then. Whatever. I'm sick and tired of hearing these early access, open beta, closed beta,
yeah,
alpha.
ship
Anyway,
me a full
give me the
game.
final game. Ship me the final game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Moving on, we have Like a Dragon Yakuza in Hawaii. Now, this one we've already talked about and we already saw it a month ago at Tokyo Game Show, but we got like a more deeper dive into the naval combat. What'd you think?
I'm way more excited about this game now.
Yeah,
Having
yeah.
having Goro as, like, the main character, the naval combat looks, like, outrageous, just like, all the other Yakuza games.
My God, man. Yeah, yeah. There, I saw a comment somewhere or something where it's like, or somebody, where did I hear it? It was like they're trying to blow Skull and Bones out of the water. That'd be so sad if I mean, if
Yeah.
this game's coming out next year, but if it came out the same year as Skull and Bones came out, and turns out to be the better pirate game, like you know,
A
the irony of
Japanese
that.
pirate game.
Yeah, it's not even. I don't even know how it like makes any sense because it's not like a Dragon Ishin where they actually go back in time.
Yeah.
It's like in a feudal Japan setting. No, this is like in modern day setting in
Yeah, it's
Hawaii, and he just washes up on shore, and next thing you know, he's a pirate
yeah,
with
didn't you
like
know about
wooden
all the
ships.
pirates around Hawaii?
What the heck is that? It's crazy, man. This game series is something else.
I mean, I'm kinda liking the direction, like, it
Oh,
doesn't
I
take
love it.
itself too seriously, it's, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
trying
yeah,
something new, and I think that'll be, like, something fresh to keep players interested in the Yakuza
yeah,
series.
yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm looking forward to that one. Moving on, Mouse PI for hire. I'm guessing private investigator for hire. Now
Yes.
this is like that FPS that looks like the old like 1930s cartoon style. Like if you look at any of the old like Walt Disney stuff, like what do they call that? Like is that like Steamboat, like
Yeah,
Mickey or something like that?
Steamboat Willie FPS, that's that's what it is,
Yeah. Uh,
literally.
it looks to me I know it's not in the same even genre as Cuphead, but Cuphead's like one of my favorite games of all time. And I love the art style in Cuphead. And although this art style is still a little bit differently, Cuphead was like a little bit like the animation
Yeah,
was a little different than this one. That one had like a little bit like you could tell the frames and yeah, the art style is thematically a little bit different, but it's still within that vein and it looks really interesting to me. Like this is
yeah.
like a cool little indie that's for sure on my radar.
Yeah,
Uh
it looks like a skin Doom almost, like the old school Doom.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
For sure, for sure. Yeah,
Do you
no. I'm
think that
looking yeah, go ahead.
do you think that, it'll be purely black and white, or is there gonna be options for some color? Because the only colors that they showed was, like, a black and white kinda gameplay style. I think it'd be very interesting if they
I
filled it up
think
with
they're
some color.
but I think they're going to stick to that
Yeah,
artistically. I think we would have saw that in the trailer if they intend on like doing uh
like a colored
color.
version
Like
or
I think
something,
they
yeah.
would have showed it off. No, I think they wanted them like stick to that black and white. It's the art direction there.
Yeah, yeah.
So that one's for slated for 2025. A lot of these games are, but there's no specific release date. Um yeah, so moving along, Subnautica 2, which is going to be on Game Pass and it's early access 2025. Do you have any thoughts about Subnautica?
I've never played any of the Subnautica games, but,
Yeah.
I did some bit of a dive into it, pun intended.
Yeah.
Um, it looks like it's kinda like an underwater explorer and, like, a base builder, from
I
what I
think
understand?
it's like a underwater survival base builder game. That's
Yeah,
my understanding. I know there's Subnautica and there's Subnautica Below Zero,
yeah,
where Below Zero is more of like a snow ice kind of setting. Yeah, I never had a chance to actually get into these games, but yeah, this is Game Pass day one, so I'll play it for sure if
yeah,
it's
you'll
on Game Pass. I'll at
give
least
it a
give it a
good
try,
try.
but
Yeah,
nothing that's really high on my radar. I'm not really much of a base building kind of survival, you know,
yeah,
person. Yeah, yeah. Moving along, Animal Well is now available on Xbox. Do you know what this is?
yes.
So this came out on PlayStation. It actually came out to the PlayStation's middle tier subscription extra.
Yeah,
I believe in May of this year, and it is from it's the first game from the publishing label that's done by that YouTuber named Dunkey. Have you seen this guy? His YouTube
no, I've
page?
never.
Oh, you got to check it out. He does like mini reviews of games, but it's straight comedic, right?
Yeah,
right? And just search up Donkey reviews. Like it's really funny. It's a really good YouTube page. His like it's just a comedic like mini review, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. And he made his own like publishing label, I guess, to for indie developers. And so this is the first game, and I think it's made by one guy.
Yeah.
But it came out. It's high on my backlog. I didn't get a chance to play it this year because I was just like neck deep into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I think I was playing Hellblade 2 at the time. But yeah, I think it's like very good reviews. I'm actually curious to see what it is on Metacritic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll give you my thoughts during this. Man, they need to I think the trailer is like what turned me off completely for this. It
Oh,
was
really?
kind of like annoying.
Oh,
Uh
that guy's voice on the trailer is Donkey.
I
That's
don't
the guy.
yeah, just the repetition of shadows, I was like,
I just
I
yeah.
need to just mute this real quick.
Really?
It
Yeah, yeah.
reminds me of like High on Life or something. Yeah, High on Life. That
Oh,
the one
that
with the
game was good, but there was a lot of talking in it. Yeah,
yeah, it was just a lot of
I don't think this game actually has any talking. I think that was just the ad.
yeah, yeah,
I
just the
don't, the actual
ad would
game.
like
Yeah,
drove me insane. Art style's
I
kind of cool.
it's
Very
a
like
yeah.
neon lights, and the character reminds me of Jake the dog from Adventure Time. I don't know if that was like intended or not, but I was like, oh, that
Oh,
little blob looks exactly like Jake the dog.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
No, it looks really cool. It's 91 on Metacritic critic rating. It's like sits at like an 80 user score.
yeah,
I heard good things about this game. It's for sure
yeah.
in my backlog.
There's
And if you have that middle tier of PlayStation,
then it's
you could
included.
play it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's from what I understand, there's like no use of weapons or anything. But there's tools apparently that you can use
Mm,
to help with boss fights and stuff like that, which is an interesting concept. But
yeah. Yeah. Um yeah, so now it's available on Xbox. So anybody who's Xbox only now gets to try that out. Eden's Zero. Thoughts?
it's waifus galore.
Yeah, yeah.
So it is gonna have an audience. For those that don't know, Eden Zero is an anime and manga. So there's gonna be fans.
Hmm.
Just I don't know if it'll be like a top seller for Konami.
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, this is being published by Konami?
Yeah, is it?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a Konami
Oh,
game.
oh, Konami's really trying to get back into games. They're done with pachinko machines.
I don't know, man.
Silent
Pachinko's
Silent Hill 2 remake and Metal Gear Solid Delta doesn't look like it was just a one-off. It looks like they actually want to.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who's the
we'll
developer?
see. We'll see. They need to
Is
make
this
another
this is
Yu-Gi-Oh game,
yeah. Yeah.
which
I
I
don't know.
think
This
is
is
coming. Actually, I think I
really
saw a little post on it on Facebook. Can't remember the
Yu-Gi-Oh.
name, but I hope they make another Yu-Gi-Oh game. It's
I've
been a
never
while
played a
since I.
Yu-Gi-Oh. I've never played a Yu-Gi-Oh game. Anyway, this game isn't really for me. I'm not there's only a couple of franchises in the genre of weeb games, like anime manga based games that really kind of that allow me to get over that barrier of like willing to play. Even
Yeah,
though although I'm not like a big anime or manga fan, I enjoy watching anime. I don't read manga, but I'll
yeah,
enjoy watching animes. But like playing actual games in that art style, like RPGs like that, is not really it for me. Most
yeah,
JRPGs don't spark my interest, but some of them will push me over the border,
yeah,
like Metaphor Fantasio sort of thing. Right, that looks like it's good enough for me to give it a try, even though it's not within traditional genre I want to play. Eden Zero, not so much. I'll skip that one. That's also slated for 2025.
yeah.
Eternal Strands. This one's coming to Game Pass day one, and it's also 2025. Any thoughts on this one?
Um, I thought this and the next game that they announced, Eternal Strands and Hunter, looks
Yeah,
very similar.
they
And
did. Yeah.
so Eternal
Mm.
Strands, I think, is from some of the people that also did Dragon Age, like some of the
Is it
develop.
really?
Yes,
Yeah.
part of the development team is part is from Dragon Age. So that's why kind of the art style looks very similar.
Yeah.
Um I don't know. This both of those games didn't really do it for me. If I had to like pick one that I was more interested in, I think it was Mistfall Hunter just because
Yeah, so that's the next game on the list. They showed them together. It was Mistfall, Hunter, and then or no, it was
Eternal Strands first and
Eternal
then
Strands
Mistfall
first.
Hunter.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in the same boat. Not none of those games did anything for me. Mistfall Hunter looks like it's like Demon Souls with a little bit of God of War, with like the art style looked like a little bit of Skyrim,
Yeah.
even looked like a little bit of Hellblade. I remember looking at it. I'm like, this looks like a bunch of things,
Yeah, it's
but
like a mashup. So apparently it's described as a Souls-like with extraction.
yeah, that made no sense to me. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, Extraction Souls like. I'm
Yeah, I
like,
was like, I'm a little bit confused. So that's I think that's part of the reason why I'm more interested in it.
uh,
Eternal Strand seems like they are well, the main thing that they were showing off was the magic system because there was some trailers before, but it didn't really get into like the whole deep use of magic and you can freeze things and use fire and mix the
yeah, yeah,
two. And there it seems like in terms of like boss fights, each boss has like a part that you can kind of hit and freeze and do all of that. But
yeah. There
again,
was like fire and water and ice or something like that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Nah, yeah. I don't think either of these games really is gonna sold me. But I'll keep my eyes out.
Yeah.
You know, I
Neither
mean,
of them are Game Pass day one, right?
no, Eternal Strands is Eternal
Oh,
Strands
Eternal
is one of the
Strands is.
five that was this. Yeah, that was on Game Pass. Yeah. Moving along, we had Wheel World. That's also Game Pass. They're saying that's early 2025. Any thoughts on Wheel World? Wheel World.
This game, I'm not even remotely interested in.
Really? Yeah, I like games like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it looks the art style doesn't do it for me. I really hate it. And then like I don't care for
Really.
racing bikes, man. Like
Oh man. I actually like don't get me wrong, this is not like a game I'm gonna buy day one and or if it's on Game Pass, I'll try it.
yeah, yeah.
But and then like actually play it to the end. It'll be like a day that I kill an afternoon or an
Yeah.
evening with. Yeah. Like I like this kind of art style. I like these indie racers. There was this game that just came out recently called Parcel Corp. It kind of gives me that kind of vibe. Parcel Corp didn't come out to the best reviews, so I kind of skipped it.
Yeah.
But if you search a Parcel Corp, it's like you're riding a it's like you're almost like an Uber Eat skip the dishes guy, but you're riding a bike in a city. And it's that cell shaded style, right?
Uber Eats
And
Simulator.
yeah, but you're like, like in big cities, some people who like deliver food are actually
Yeah,
on like
yeah.
bicycles. Yeah, so you're on a bicycle and you're driving around like the big town and stuff. And yeah, I liked it thematically, but I don't think the reviews were that great. So I just kind of chose to skip it. This Real World, yeah, it looks like maybe a little bit of Art of Rally, maybe a little bit of Descenders or Mountain. What's it called? Downhill Mountain. Yeah. So I'll try this. I don't think it'll be like
Yeah, a need to play.
yeah, yeah, but I think it'll be a nice Game Pass game.
Yeah.
Uh Next one is Phasmophobia is coming to Series X on October 29th, so that's like in a week, 2024, and that also means that's also the release date for it on PlayStation, and it's actually going to be PlayStation VR 2. That's why this caught my attention more than anything, is because I already knew they had announced this for PlayStation with PSVR 2, but didn't have a date, and so this date confirms the date. Do you know anything about Phasmophobia? I haven't played this game, but I've been
I
keen to play it for a while.
Yeah, I know
Yeah, so
nothing about it other than it looks like you can't have a gun and you're like stuck with some spectrometer. So
mhm. No
yeah,
thanks.
big
Well, here,
nope.
so this game, I think it came out kind of peak COVID, right? It was like one of those COVID games that were like a craze for a little bit, like what was that game, Among Us
Yep.
and stuff like that everyone was playing. So yeah, you play it like co-op. You have like buddies, like three. I imagine 3, 4 of you. It was a PC only game.
Yep.
and you go into like a haunted house and you're supposed to like do specific things before you get out. So it seems like although it's like a spooky game, it's like a fun party spooky game.
Mm.
Now
Unless
I don't
your
know what that's
mates
gonna do
decide
for me because I know nobody else who has a PSVR 2. I don't know who the heck I'm gonna play this with, but yeah,
to
yeah,
just
but
playing with yourself,
I'll play with
apparently.
myself. Yeah. Um, moving along, The Legend of Babu. Any thoughts on this one?
Another discount Kina Bridge of Spirits to me. The brother,
Yeah,
the slightly not so
uh,
pretty brother.
yeah. There was a little bit. I don't. The art style. There, I feel like there's a lot of games like this. They all look like
Yeah.
Kena Bridge of Spirit likes. Some of them I think have hit, like Chia, that new Caledonia game.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that one, but a lot of them don't hit. And this one, there was a little bit of uncanny valley with the art style.
Oh yeah, especially with the dog.
Mm-hmm.
It really like weirded me out. So
Yeah, something looked weird about it. But I think there was something about these developers. Uh, where are they from? They're not. They're from a non-traditional, like not a country that's known for developing games. That was just that kind of sparked my interest in it slightly. But yeah, I can't find this. Midwest Games is the publisher. Yeah. Anyway, we don't have to dwell on that.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
are they from the
I mean,
Midwest?
no, no. I think I want to say it's a Middle Eastern studio,
Oh,
but that doesn't sound or like it could be Middle Eastern or it could be South Asian. It could be
let,
like an
let's take
Indian
a look.
studio. Yeah, I don't know.
Developer is Permanent Way Game Co.
Oh, Turkey.
Uh
Yeah, 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 yeah. Turkey. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see how that one goes. Moving along, this is kind of when we get to the climaxes of the preview. There was Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. Uh, okay, we could talk about the game first, but then I also want to mention something. We are now in the number of games that are Souls like ish, more like Sekiro or Neo likes, that start with the letter W and are Chinese, at least in name. We had Wulong Fallen Dynasty by the actual people who made Neo, Team Ninja. That came out earlier last year. We had Black Myth Wukong, which came out this August. And now we have Wu Chang Fallen Feathers to complete the Woos. All these games look so similar. And just to add on top of that, we have Ballad of Antera, still yet to be released. Where Winds Meet, still yet to be released. What else do we got? I feel like I'm missing some here. I feel like I'm missing some. Like the amount of these like East Asian Souls likes that are kind of Sekiro likes that are not, that are kind of Neo likes and not. Like, oh my god, man. Talk about trend chasing. I mean, they might be good. Oh, there's Phantom Blade Zero. I forgot about that one. I mean, first Berserker Kazan has a more unique art style, but it's also within that vein. A lot of these, like, I mean, Stellar Blade, we had that. It was also within that kind
Yeah.
of genre, although different, more unique art style for sure. Dude, we're it's crazy, man.
You just gotta find something in one of these games that makes it different,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, lots of Chinese developers hopping onto this. Is this a Chinese developer or is this a Korean
Oh,
developer?
it is a Chinese developer.
Chinese developer.
Yeah.
I know Wulong Fallen Dynasty, although it takes place in China, it's Japanese developer Team Ninja, but
Yeah. So
a
the
lot of Korean
developer
developers.
is Lean Z.
Mm,
I don't know if anybody has really taken a look at them, but this is their second game under their belt. The first one
what was
is
their first?
the first one is a VR game. It's a VR interactive movie, basically.
Really,
I took a look at some of the gameplay. It does not look good.
the VR game.
Yeah, the voice acting is terrible in English.
Mm,
Um, Yeah, so I'm not sure if this one will be as good as they're
It might.
advertising it to be, but
I
this
mean,
is
well, I
their
mean, here's the thing. You're saying this now, but I said this 2 months ago before Wukong Black Myth Wukong came out, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not counting out another Chinese developer who has a Sekiro Neo like with Wu in the start of the game. Those are, you know what I mean? Those are high on my radar now. You can't go wrong with those. So
Yeah.
I don't know why. I mean, it looked good to me. It looked really good. All aside from it looking samey to a lot of these other games we
Mhm.
mentioned, it looks still really good to me. But
Yeah.
all those other games also look good. So it's like, which one do I pick? Right. So, but do we know if this is actually a Souls like, or is it more of like
Yeah, it is
Ninja Gaiden like, or
it is
Sekiro like? What is it
advertised as
exactly?
a, Souls-like. So, on the Steam page, Wu Chang Fallen Feathers is Souls-like action RPG set in the land of Shu during the dark and tumultuous late Ming Dynasty.
Mm,
So it seems like it involves a lot of monsters as well. The protagonist is a female. Oh no. Um, but
what's
yeah,
wrong with
no,
that?
nothing. Absolutely nothing.
There's nothing wrong with that, especially if it's a waifu female,
Oh yeah. We all
right?
know
People
our love
people
for
don't complain.
waifus.
People don't complain about waifu females. They complain about normal females, right?
Yes.
They don't want a game that has a normal woman. They
Yeah.
they want a game with an exaggeration.
Yeah.
But
Um,
I didn't really look too much to this character model.
yeah, I think that this was the highlight for the developer preview for me, or the third party preview for me.
Yeah.
I'm high off the coattails of um, Black Myth, so I'm looking for another game that will kind of hopefully meet and exceed that expectation for me.
Mm,
I don't know if this will be the one, um, but I like the monster design. They showed off like this weird monk looking guy that looks
yeah, that guy was
interesting,
freaky. The guy who was like talking to her in the beginning.
right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sold on
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a little bit careful, but I'm not gonna count it out like you did for Black
Oh,
Myth.
this is Game Pass day one.
Yeah,
I'm literally gonna download this and play it. This to me actually looks better than Black Myth Wukong did.
yeah.
So yeah, and they showed this already like 6 months ago, I think, at the
Hmm.
Xbox event. Yeah, so I'm down for this. Uh, we got one more game, FBC Firebreak 2025, also Game Pass day one. This is that 3-person co-op shooter from Remedy Entertainment, which is, I think, the very rumored Control multiplayer game. I think that's what this is,
Yeah,
and we finally got to look at it. So I know you weren't as high about it as I was, and I will concede that I am only as high as I am about it because it is Remedy Entertainment and in the Control universe or whatever. Yeah, if it wasn't maybe another developer, unknown developer, I would have been like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I mean, Game Pass day one can't go wrong. I'm gonna give
yeah,
this a try, and kind of weird for the team that just made Alan Wake 2. I'll be honest
yeah.
that
That
this
they're
is their next
branching
game
off to a
after Alan
co-op
Wake 2.
FPS.
Yeah, yeah, kind of weird. I mean, they also did that. They did the campaign for that Crossfire X game that was like miserable. It was
Mm.
like one of the worst reviewed games last year, I think, or the year before. So Remedy does miss sometimes, but they're rare. Their misses are rare. So
Yeah, I found nothing like really captivating with the character design in particularly. Some of the weapons do look
Mm,
cool. Like the standard gun looks not so cool, but some of the more unique weapons,
yeah,
yeah, they
yeah.
look a little bit jank, so I kind of like that.
I mean, honestly, if I hear Game Pass day one, I'm just like,
Yeah,
I'll try it. Yeah,
it
it's like
doesn't hurt to try. Like you
there's
paid
no
for it.
barrier to entry.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no barrier to entry there. That is it for that Xbox developer partner preview. It's crazy. We did our episode of like what's coming out like next because we didn't think like there's going to be more events for the year before Game Awards, but they hit
Yeah.
us with this. Next
Yeah.
week we're going to get probably a Nintendo showcase. The week after, like, what the heck's going on, man?
They're gonna announce a stopwatch next.
Mm, um, yeah. Did you notice that like Yakuza Like a Dragon, their release date, they changed it from February 28 to February 21. They
Yeah.
made it sooner.
Yeah, they moved it up.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get it out of the way of Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense. Monster Hunter is really big in Japan.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and to
gonna be
compete with that, it's hard.
that's a bad idea. Bad idea to have your release date. But if I recall correctly, Monster Hunter had their release date set first before this game even got announced with
Yeah.
a release date. So it does seem kind of strange. It's like you already knew Monster Hunter was coming out this day before you even announced your game, and then you gave us that day. So I don't know.
Yeah, they probably brought it back up to leadership, and leadership was like, "No, no, no.
No,
We
no,
got to
no,
move
no.
this."
We gotta move it. Anyway, that's probably the biggest story for the week. We could hit up a couple of these other stories. So unfortunately, we have another situation. I'm not gonna call this a leak because it really is like theft. It's like a hack. But Game Freak, the Pokemon developer, got basically an Insomniac style hack. And basically, we have a bunch of personal data from employees, lots
Pokemon
of source
data.
code for some games, even like Pokemon lore or something like that. There was a Detective Pikachu sequel that was like gonna come out. Now I know you looked into this deeper than I did, and
Yeah.
there was like memes going around, and there was apparently like there was some questionable stuff about some of these Pokemon backstories. So
Yeah, I think the most notorious one is Typhlosion. So I do have to say I have to repick my Johto starter. Um
oh shoot, wasn't
yeah,
there?
those allegations are pretty, or the backstory is pretty wild. We're not going to talk about it on
Who was
here,
the
but
one? Yeah, I don't know, man. Some of that stuff was like
yeah,
until
it's
we
just
find out there was something about furries or something.
yeah.
I mean,
Let's just
I
say
mean,
Game Freak is properly named. Um
I'm not gonna lie. I usually don't like talking about stories like this.
yeah,
I probably would have just skipped over it. Like whatever, like screw these people who hacked them. But
yeah. And
I'm
the
sorry, bro.
thing,
When you're telling us about what was the trainer that's a Latina, there they have like an origin story for one of the
yeah,
trainers. Yeah, I mean, like, bro. And
it's a
then there was
deep
memes going
dive.
around. There was some memes going around about that, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. You're right. They Game Freak.
But yeah, end of the day, I mean, like if we take a look at it just like the Insomniac leak or hack or whatever, like
Yeah.
some of the stuff cannot like is just not going to happen. Like, you know,
Yeah, a lot of it is like future whatever. Like I mean, we saw it when Xbox actually leaked their own stuff to the FDA accidentally during their court case. That
yeah.
was last year, with the FDA when they were having the court case about the Activision
Yeah, the Activision Blizzard
purchase,
purchase, yeah.
and they had actually submitted documents to the court that contained some of their future plans, and it had like the next generation of Xbox. It had the mid cycle refresh
Yeah.
where it had like that circular looking Xbox, like the cylindrical looking one, and that wasn't actually like a hack or anything or a data breach. That was actually just the documents. They uploaded them and they didn't realize they were available to the public, and all that stuff like came out, and there was like the Doom Year Zero, and they were talking about like a Fallout remaster, which turned out just to be a patch, I think, in the end of the day, or a
Yeah.
version like a yeah.
Yeah, just
But yeah,
before
but the
the
thing is,
TV
a
show.
lot of that didn't actually pan out to be true, right? Like we did get the Xbox mid-gen refreshes, which are the white Series X that's like diskless, and the black Series X that's 2 terabyte, and then
Yeah,
we got like So in the end, it doesn't actually mean just because this was on the leak,
that
like
is
take it
going to
with a grain of
happen.
salt.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing's gonna happen in 2029 just because it said on this thing, right? Plans change, right? Stuff gets canceled, stuff gets moved around.
Yeah, and Xbox is,
Yeah.
I think, probably pivoting quite a bit from that from that leaked document, just in general
Yeah,
with
so
their state
yeah,
of
yeah.
where they're at in the gaming industry.
Yeah, so I mean, like it doesn't matter. So this, I'm not a big Pokemon game guy. I didn't really grow up playing any of the Pokemon games. Like I've only tried them, and like as an adult, there's nothing there that like interests me to play
Yeah.
any of those on like Switch or anything. Um, but I don't know. I mean, Pokemon Arceus, that kind of just sparked enough of my interest that I thought maybe I should give it a try, but
Hmm.
not enough to cross the line. I think we need new Switch hardware.
Yeah.
Plus, we need Game Freak to actually make a good game
Yeah,
in the future.
they really need to put out a game that will actually impress some of the
Yeah, yeah,
older gamers for sure.
yeah. Some of the old people that were playing those games on the Game Boy.
Yep.
Um, our third story is Bandai Namco is cutting their workforce by 200 employees. And what they're doing is they are putting people in, what do they call them in Japan? These rooms?
Yeah, they're
Uh
just empty rooms where
Quitting rooms? What do they yeah, so
yeah,
basically they take employees who they want to lay off, they give them no work, they put them in a room all day and just let them do whatever. And it basically means, hey buddy, quit.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally like warfare with them. This mental warfare.
But I actually that's what I thought. I was like, it's like this is like a cheap way of like
Yeah.
forcing someone to quit. That's my initial interpretation. But I think we're missing something. I think there's something in Japanese culture baked in there where it's like, actually, this is the right way to do it. This is more respectful than just firing someone outright or laying them off.
Yeah.
Basically, you put them in a room, you tell them, like, you're giving them the message, like, hey, we're going to let you go, but here's some time to like work on your resume or look for a job,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah, the
Or take your time until you find a new job so that you're not unemployed in
Mhm.
between the time that you quit and whatever.
Yeah, I think
That's kind of
just the cultural dynamic. I know that with Japanese people like to see that their employees have worked at that company for a very, very long time. Like loyalty is like key for them,
mm,
right?
mm.
I don't know how it would transfer over for doing like severance
Yeah, I
and
don't know.
layoffs like that, but to us it may sound different, but to
It may
them it
sound
might
like
actually
a
be a good thing, like you said.
yeah, yeah. It might
Yeah,
sound like a dirty move to us, but for them, maybe it's like because bro, like quitting a job in Japan, I've heard is like a crazy thing.
yeah, yeah, and
Like you go
jumping
to quit a
ship.
job,
Yeah.
your manager freaks out. He calls his boss. Everybody shows up. Why do you hate the company? Why do you want to leave? What did we
Hmm.
do wrong? Like it's a big deal,
Yeah,
right? Like I heard you could hire people to quit your job for you in Japan or something like that.
yeah. I
You
mean, you
hire
can
someone to go on your behalf.
you can hire an old man to be your friend in Japan. You know, like
I
not
guess.
kidding.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's wild there. But other big news with that is that they canceled a few unnamed titles. It's
Yeah.
speculated to just be like Naruto games or One Piece games. Um, so nothing like
Yeah.
that we're missing completely. A lot of those games just kind of rehash the same storyline that happened in the anime or manga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the Japanese developers have been way better at dealing with this current, like, downfall in the video game industry. Like, we could talk about it like on another episode, but like, for those who don't know, like, over the last year or two, there's been like a crazy wave of people losing their jobs in video games across the board. Um, Kind of this 2023, 2024 layoffs across the board, studios cutting costs and cutting size, publishers straight out closing studios, development studios altogether. Like lots of people have lost their jobs. I don't understand economically why it's happening. I think there's a couple of things going on. Like maybe we've hit the peak of like all this trend chasing is not paying off. There's been some big blockbuster failures like Suicide Squad or like Concord we just had right now. um Development costs are going up through the roof and development times are going up through the roof, so it's become way riskier to make a big AAA game.
Yeah.
Plus, I think a lot of publishers were were taking loans like crazy during COVID because of the low interest rate,
Yeah.
right? To try and fund some projects, and now that the interest rate has gone way up, everything's starting to crash,
Yeah.
and
The
yeah,
cultural
I don't
shift
understand. I
of
can, yeah.
people now not working from home and playing less video games because everything is now open up and
Yeah,
yeah.
like I think there was that when everyone was locked in their houses, everybody wanted to play games, and then like games like Animal Crossing that came out at the time, and it's just like they haven't been able, yeah, they haven't been able to keep up with that. Lots of games of a service game, like multiplayer games that have come out that I could think of in the last 2-3 years that
Yep.
came out and like shut down within a year. Even games that were like had good reviews that I personally played, like Knockout City. I really enjoyed that game. They shut it down within like a year. There was um there was that game where it's like also battle royale, but you're like in an area where you fight. I can't remember, but there's been a lot of games that have just been completely like there's a thing going on right now in the game industry.
Yeah.
The Japanese developers, I feel like mostly have been able to withstand this. Um, I know inflation rate is not going up in Japan right now because there's some legal laws that are trying to stop inflation. As a result, it's causing the yen to kind of collapse internationally. Like it's not worth as much
Hmm.
to the American dollar as before, but within Japan, at least there's not like a crazy inflation for products. I don't understand again economically how it works.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe that's why. And I know Japanese maybe studios are a little bit more conservative and they know how to like manage their money better. So it's kind of a shame, especially because Bandai Namco just came off of Elden Ring in the last 2 years. You'd think that game made them enough money to not have to lay off these 200 people. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. But
Yeah, like how much did that sell? 25 million copies. I know that's not like developed in house. It's developed by From Software, but it is published by them.
yeah.
Yeah. If they did that to you in Canada, if they put you in a quit room
Oh, there's no chance
and
I'm
they just
quitting.
paid. Dude, I would show up with my PS5
Right?
to the office every day and just freaking play, bro. That would literally not work in the West at all, man.
Yeah.
The amount of people, the dream job would be to get a job that's going to lay you off and put you in a quit room.
Right.
It
I
would
think
literally be a dream job.
I think I'd ease into it. Like, first day you bring like your Switch and then you get a little bit
Yeah.
more comfortable. You drag in a couch, you bring in your your
Yeah.
TV, you start hosting a
Yeah.
LAN party. I don't know, man.
Oh my God. All the boys are coming. The manager walks in the room. He's like, bro, this guy doesn't even work here.
But then that would
Oh
give
my
you
God.
grounds for potentially being fired. So maybe not.
Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe not. Don't want to push it too much. Anyway, one more big story that I wanted to bring up is the Analog 3D has been revealed, and pre-order date I believe is, what was it, like next Thursday, and it
uh,
specs price
let's take a
250
look.
USD. So basically, this thing is a brand new console that is able to play all Nintendo 64 games in 4K, um, on your relatively new TV. So this comes from a company called Analog. For those who don't know, they make video game consoles that are able to play retro gaming console games natively on the hardware without, I don't understand exactly the technology, but without emulation or anything. So they already had the Analog Pocket, which is a big hit. You could play a lot of Game Boy games on that. And there's another that lets you play like graphics turbo games or whatever. I forgot its name. Analog Duo, I think. And then there's this now, which you could literally put in your old N64 cartridge in and play any old games that you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, 250 US dollars. I don't know what the price is in Canada, but at an exchange rate, that comes out to like 360
Yeah. Which
Canadian
is
dollars.
crazy. But for those retro
Yeah,
gamers,
yeah. I don't know if you're into retro gaming, I feel like that's a price you would pay.
yeah,
But
pre-orders start October 21st is what I've got.
yeah, Yeah.
I don't think it even comes with the controller.
I was reading that. I was reading that the controller is made by something
8-bit
8-bit.
Do 64
Yeah,
controller. Yeah, it's sold
and you have
separately.
to sold separately. That's kind of weird. But then, does this thing have actual N64 controller ports?
It
So you
does.
could plug in your original N64 controllers into this
Yes, it
device,
does.
and okay, so maybe that's
I mean, for something
yeah,
that's 250 USD, you'd think that they'd give you at least one controller.
that's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie, that's a little weird,
Yeah.
and I'm not sure the heads at Nintendo would be happy with the way that controller looks.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It looks like a Pro Switch controller. It doesn't look like an N64 controller.
Yeah.
What the heck, man? I want to play my game with the messed up controls.
You got to go do some thrift shopping and hunt down some
Mm,
N64 controllers.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, man, there is a huge following for like GoldenEye and like, some of the classics on there. So, do I want to pay
Have you
360 Canadian or 250 USD for that? I
have you
don't
had
know.
have you ever owned an N64
Oh
as a kid?
yeah, that was like one of my first
You did?
consoles that my parents bought
Really?
us. Yeah.
Yeah. So how was that like growing up? Like what were the games that were on it? Like
Oh man.
I've
I think
oh my
the big one obviously was like Mario Kart 64, Smash Bros. Very similar to like what
yeah, Mario
yeah,
64.
P-
Yeah, yeah.
Pokemon Stadium
Donkey
2,
Kong. Yeah.
Donkey Kong,
Donkey Kong 64, yeah.
yeah, GoldenEye. I remember sinking so many hours into
GoldenEye or
GoldenEye.
and Perfect Dark.
Yep, and
Yeah.
Mega Man 64, I also sunk a lot of hours into that. Bomberman
Yeah.
64, like there was like good hits, but
Yeah.
this price
It
tag,
did
I don't know.
yeah. It's crazy. Like it's like you get like something's US price tag, and it's like I'll buy that, even though I don't even care about Nintendo 64. And then you convert it to Canadian dollars, and it's not like we make more money in Canada than
Yeah,
Americans. So now their $250 is going to be the same as my 350. No, it's like we actually make less money
yeah,
for
we
than
usually
them,
do.
and now I
Most
gotta pay,
positions do.
and now I gotta pay $360 for this thing.
Yeah,
It's like that's kind of pushing
it
it, right?
probably doesn't include shipping too. And if you guys don't know
Oh,
about
that's a good
shipping
point.
and the custom fees for getting something into Canada, then
Yeah,
it's heavy.
yeah.
But I'm
Ah,
glad they're doing this. It allows like gamers that want to play these retro titles and on their newest TV
in
and make it look
4K.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really curious to see how it's gonna look on a 4K TV compared to how it's gonna look if you had an original N64 connected to a CRT TV. I'm curious to see what the
Yeah.
because a lot of these games that they bring into that Nintendo Online, what do they call it, man? I don't remember the name.
Yeah,
The one where
Nintendo
you get
Online.
your
Pretty sure it is.
you get like NES games, SNES games,
Yep.
Game Boy games. They put N64
Yeah,
games.
the virtual
I've
console
tried that.
basically.
Yeah, yeah. I've tried that a few times. Man, some of these games don't look right. They just look. I'm like, what? Like, I don't know if it's the way they're emulating it or something about the scale factor. I'm not sure what it is, but
Yeah.
they look
It
horrendous.
looks okay on Switch, but I think once you get it up to like a TV where you can kind
Yeah,
of see more of the details, it really does look a little bit weird.
yeah. I don't know. I was never really an N64 guy growing up.
Yeah.
I was never a Nintendo guy at all growing up. So I never had an N64. We had family friends who had N64, and that's basically the limit of my exposure to that console. Like we'd
Yeah.
go over and play some games there, and that's it. I remembered like playing a Zelda game there at their house and playing like Mario Party or something.
Yeah.
What was the Legend of Zelda on N64?
Um was it
Anyway,
Ocarina of Time?
yeah,
Pretty sure.
yeah.
I
Anyway,
thought there was a few titles.
I think there
Yeah,
was like
Ocarina of
two main
Time.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. I really don't have any N64 nostalgia. And I'm really curious, do I want to buy this analog 3D or can I get a used N64
Oh, a used N64 is a lot cheaper, but then,
Yeah.
the issue with
But then I
the
can't connect it to my TV. I'd
yeah,
have to connect it to
you'd have to
a CRT TV.
or you could use some sort of upscaler, but the upscaler does have,
It'll
like,
mess up.
issues in terms of
Yeah.
graphical artifacting and, like, weird just glitches almost.
I guess the only other thing that I'm curious about this is, are these games going to perform better on this system? Like, are they going to perform at better frame rates?
Probably
Or are they going to
not,
like,
right? I
they're going
mean
to like chug like a N64 game at like 15 frames a second or something? You think maybe this console is built in to have the power to actually run these games better? I'm not sure. I'm curious to see.
yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really interesting. But it looks like there's variable refresh rate included in it, and,
that's crazy.
if you want the original display modes, then that's also doable, and
Yeah,
it is region unlocked, so you can
that's
play
pretty cool
any,
too.
like, Japanese game on there. So that'd be
Yeah, that's
it's a very interesting product for sure, and I mean, I hope they keep doing
yeah.
what they're doing because 'cause they're clearly doing something for the video game
It's
market.
good. Yeah, I've only heard good things about the analog pocket. I
Yeah.
have a friend who has one of those, and he swears by it. So yeah, I want the I personally want the one that does the PS1 games. I'm waiting for that one
Yeah, I mean
rather than playing them on PlayStation Premium like actual.
yeah, I think my
That'd be
question was,
sick
like,
if I get a PS1 discs.
how do they even, like, get away with not getting sued? I mean, I'd have to look into it, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned that at the top of the show here before we started. I don't know. There's got to be something where this is completely legal,
Yeah. Like, I think if
where
they
like
reverse
Nintendo
engineer
can
it,
do.
right? But
Yeah, there's something. Maybe it's a completely different technology, and it could just play the cartridge. I don't
yeah.
know how it works. Yeah. Anyway, I think those are the big stories for the week. We got a couple of smaller ones we could run through here quickly. Spider-Man 2 has been confirmed for PC January 30th. And usually what that means is when a game is confirmed for PC from PS5, it means all the post launch content is already out. And that means we are not getting DLC. And that was confirmed from Insomniac Studio Twitter, I believe it
Yeah,
was.
Twitter.
Yeah, so that's it, folks. Whoever was waiting for Spider-Man 2 DLC, like the city that never sleeps for Spider-Man 1, well, you're not getting it. That is the full package of the game. Um, thoughts, man? I mean, I know we were talking about this earlier, but I
Yeah.
kind of was waiting on getting this DLC to get the platinum. It was in the Insomniac leak from last December, but it looks like it's not happening anymore. I'm not sure if they ever started working on it or if it was scrapped altogether earlier, sooner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I wonder what what would have happened if, none of the leaks came out as well, right? Um,
you think they might have
b
changed their decision because of the leaks?
yeah, I mean, there must have been some sort of downtime for them to determine where the leak was from and how it happened, and that might have put a pause on some of the work that was being done, right? Because you don't wanna do more work on something that's potentially compromised.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think I think this game I think they probably based on the number of sold copies and stuff like that, they just decided it's probably cuz this game made money but and sold a lot of copies, but it was so expensive that I'm not sure the profit for Sony was that
Was that good?
the return of investment was that good. Yeah. So I don't know, maybe they decided to just put a plug on the DLC cuz DLC doesn't sell as good as a base game ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of unfortunate. I was hoping there'd be like something with Carnage or Venom. I know there was like supposed to be a rumored Venom spin-off game.
Yeah, and
Um,
that could still happen just because
yeah,
they closed the chapter on DLC for this game doesn't mean that a Venom spin-off game, just like how Miles Morales came out as a standalone game
yeah.
separately, right?
I mean, we talked about it top of the show. Just because something leaks from a studio internally, it doesn't mean that that is going to be their final product or their final plan. We talked about it with the Xbox leak during the FDA case. So there's a possibility this DLC was never going to happen anyway, right? And there's a possibility this Venom game is not going to happen. There's a possibility something else is going to happen that wasn't on that list of things. So,
Yeah,
but it's
exactly.
unfortunate. I was kind of really hoping for more content for that game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think a lot of people were.
I know you're saying
Um,
the Reddit has turned on that game.
yeah, saying that it was not as good as the first game and it doesn't deserve the recognition
Mhm.
that it received when it first came out.
Yeah,
Yeah, my thoughts on that were just that it's, you paid whatever amount that you paid, whether it be the base game or the collector's edition like me.
oh, yeah, we were talking about that. That was the part that got cut out of our podcast.
Yeah,
But for the audience to know, you have the full is it 18 inches of Venom, 16 inches, 12
I mean,
inches,
I
8
didn't I
inches?
didn't
How many
I didn't
inches
put
of
a
Venom do you
ruler
have?
to it, but it is a huge statue that's still in its packaging because I have nowhere to put that thing.
Oh my god. That was
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know.
So, you paid that money and you
So
got the base game. Like, the DLC is not promised to you. The DLC is
no.
additional money, right? So if they choose not to make one, then
I
that's
think it was just
their
expectations and
choice.
reality. Just
Yeah.
because of the parallels between the first Spider-Man and the second one, as in like same length of game, same size of game, same idea. Theoretically they thought maybe there'd be a content drop of similar episodic DLC. I thought that, but
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people did, but I think it just at the end of the day, they could just make another game and make more money that way. Like
yeah. That's
Venom
probably
as
what it
a
is.
DLC
That is
is
probably what it is. A
yeah.
standalone game will make more money even if it's the same amount of money
Yeah,
than DLC
exactly.
was. Unless it's like a game-changing expansion like Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, which really just like that with the update that came along with it, like literally fixed Cyberpunk.
Yeah, yeah.
Cyberpunk became like a new game, wasn't the game it launched,
But
you
you
know?
have to look at that in context. It's not like Spider-Man 2 came out as a broken game and now the publisher needs to win
Yeah,
back buyers,
yeah. Yeah,
right?
if you have yeah, I guess, I don't know. It's probably a financial decision that they chose not to go with it.
Yeah.
Um, moving along, we have the God of War TV series that's being done by Amazon. Apparently, is hitting a hard reset button. The departure of the showrunner and all the producers, like I don't know what's going on over there. So for those who don't know, Sony's been doing a big push to kind of get a lot of their IP into film and TV shows. We had the Uncharted movie, I believe that was like 2 years ago. We had the Last of Us TV show that was a big hit with Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey. Um,
Twisted
w-
Metal on Peacock,
Twisted
like you
Metal
said.
on Peacock. We talked about that. And I think that the Horizon one I think got canceled already. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Yeah, I think
Was it the
so. Or
Netflix?
it's in
Horizon was
hiatus or
Netflix, I
something.
believe it was, or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
The God of War one was being done by Amazon, and it looks like they're going from scratch. I love God of War, but I don't know how the heck you're supposed to make a live action God of War. Who the heck is going to play Kratos? What's the makeup going to look like? It doesn't, the God of War, like even Kratos' design, he's human, but he's also not. It
Yeah.
seems very strange to get an actor to play him.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
know
think
that
they'll
the
capture the same as
Yeah. I know that the voice actor for,
Christopher Judge.
Kratos from the
Yeah,
game wanted to be the
Christopher
lead
Judge.
role
Yeah,
of that TV
yeah,
series, but, for those that don't know, he is African American.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I mean,
So,
I guess it doesn't really matter once you have, like, full
like,
costume and makeup, but
yeah, like you could like I mean Kratos doesn't even look like he has like a human skin tone. He looks like he has like this like ash white,
yeah,
like
undead
almost like he has
feel
yeah, like he
almost,
has
yeah.
powder on his face, yeah. Yeah, so Christopher Judge, yeah. It'd be like his voice, yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't think it resets, like, the casting, but I think it'll reset the direction of the whole show in terms of story
Yeah.
and
I'm not
whatnot.
very I'm not very hopeful for that show. I'm very, very like concerned that it's
Yeah,
not gonna be a good thing.
I'm curious if they would have brought it back to the very beginning or just start off
Like
with the
Greek, like as in
yeah,
very beginning.
yeah,
I
like
just
very game number 1 versus like, the reboot.
I think it's gonna be a reboot. I just think that's the one that most people know about, and that's the one they're trying to sell, and that's the one that's like captured the most audience.
Yeah, but they miss
Like
so much of
who
the backstory if they do that, right?
Nah, I think they would still do that. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, dude, like which person younger than the age of like, I don't know, 30, 25, maybe if you want to push it, played the original God of War in PS2, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Moving along. Apparently the Halo Battle Royale, which was rumored at the time when Halo Infinite was coming out, and then was rumored to be canceled, actually turned out it was a real thing. Um and it was play tested as well or whatever, but completely scrapped. It wasn't part of the Halo Infinite package. This story makes me a little sad. I thought Halo Infinite was a stellar game. All it was missing was some content. It was just a little bare bones. So I don't know. I thought it would have been probably cool to play a battle royale or any other game mode, but
Yeah, in
I don't have
the
much
Halo
else to say.
franchise.
I know, yeah. I don't know, but 343, who rebranded last week to Halo Studios, I
Yeah,
mean, they
this might
said
have
they
been
had
a good
multiple
move,
projects. They had multiple
right?
projects in the works, so maybe they revived this. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Or they pivot some resources that were working on this because it is not a final product, right?
Yeah, of
Probably
course. Mhm.
to something that is
Well,
more,
it was already canceled, so whoever was working on it was
yeah,
like this was rumored to be canceled like a year ago or 2 years ago.
yeah.
So this is just confirmation that it actually did exist.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Talking about other canceled items,
Concord, man. So
yeah,
what is this that you put this up on the show notes? I don't read into this. What
yeah.
Concord
So
is getting daily updates on Steam?
yeah, so based on the Steam database, it is getting daily updates. I don't know exactly when it started, but I think September, end of September or something like that.
What? So for those who don't know, Concord was a hero shooter by Sony. It was a Sony first party game by Fire Sprite Studios or Firewalk Studios. Which one? There's two of them.
Firewalk, I think. Yeah,
Yeah.
Firewalk
Yeah.
Studios.
So came out end of August to terrible concurrent players, less than 1,000 on Steam. It came out on PS5 and Steam. Completely bombed, and within a week or two, Sony said they're taking the servers offline and they're delisting it for purchase, both physical and digital copies.
Yeah.
And that was it. And they refunded everybody. So there's been questions of like this game has cost them millions of dollars. They've been working on it for several years. What were they going to do with all this time spent? Were they going to bring it back in a different form, in a free to play form, in a in some other form at a cheaper cost or something like that? But or were they never going to bring it back at all? Was it just the done and one and done and canceled?
Yeah.
So this
I
Steam
mean,
update thing, was kind of curious, like what's going on there.
yeah, it's promising. And I think it does indicate that they want to take a look at the option of bringing it back as a free to play game, right? Because I don't think they'll get these players to rebuy a game after your first failed launch.
I don't think anyone's buying this game. I think if they go free to play,
Yeah.
maybe. But even going free to play is not easy. You have to completely do a completely different monetization. You know, like if your
Yeah.
game wasn't planned to be being monetized from like skins or battle passes heavily, then now you have to like rework everything and change your upgrading system to like make it appeal to people who want to get the extra goodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think we'll see this soon?
No, I don't think so. I think they have to let, you know, time
The
kind of
dust settle.
take its toll and let people forget about this mistake before they come back with it.
I think this game is a lost cause. I think even if they bring it back free to play,
Yeah. I mean,
I
I
don't
wonder if
think
they
anyone's
could
playing this.
just change the name of the game and reskin some
They
of the
It would have to be a different name, and it could be the same art style. There'd have to be different character models.
Yeah, completely different. So
completely different. Some of these characters, man, this game is still nuts, dude. They were gonna do episodic, like weekly videos.
yeah,
This was gonna be Sony's big thing. Oh my god, this is one of the biggest failures of all time for sure.
yeah.
Uh, moving along. So apparently, the PS5 Pro is one of the best-selling consoles in multiple countries, including the US, according to like
Like the
Amazon. Like,
Amazon like sales page.
I, I don't. What's going on here? I don't believe that. I don't believe it just based on anecdotal evidence, because when it went up for pre-order, it went up the same time that anniversary edition went up for pre-order. All that
Yeah.
anniversary bundle, the big bundle, the pro bundle, the regular console, the Portal, the DualSense Edge, the DualSense, and I feel like no one was buying this. You could still pre-order it 2-3 days after it went up for pre-order. I
I
think you
think you
can't.
can still
I,
can pre-order it
I
from.
yeah, I think I still see sometimes like
So the question
on my Twitter feed that you could. Yeah,
is it maybe because Sony does have enough stock, so it doesn't even
there's
matter
there's
for
no
how many
way.
pre-orders
There's
they
no
take?
way. There's
Or
no way they
yeah,
made more of these than the base PS5. They oh my god, there's and how is it best selling, man? I don't know. This is kind of
yeah.
weird. This
I
story
mean,
kind of
it
confuses
is
me.
kind of like a time frame, right? Because it might just be like a hot buy product, but I don't think we'll see actual sales numbers until holiday season
Yeah,
is over,
yeah.
and so basically Q1 of 2025, right?
Bro, the PS4 Pro barely sold, and the PS4 Pro was the same price as the base PS5 when it came out, and it actually was served a purpose, HDR and 4K,
Yeah,
you know. And this thing doesn't seem to be serving anything, and it's 300 US dollar, no, 200 US dollar, well 300 because it's a digital console, so 300 US dollars more than the base PS5.
yeah.
Anyway, that's it for news. We still need to learn how to not go over a lot of time, but I think that Xbox partner showcase, we really wanted to talk a lot about that, so that kind of took up most of our time. Um, we'll move on to our next segment. We want to talk about a little bit of the games that we talk a little bit about the games we are playing. So we got one game in common on our playlists, and I want to start the show by talking about this game. And this game came out last Tuesday, I believe it was, and that is Neva. So you've played a little, I've played a lot. I'm almost done. What are your thoughts about Neva? Please tell me
I
this game isn't beautiful.
it is definitely unexpected for how well it plays. The animations are beautiful.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Like the soundtrack is, I think, the biggest highlight for me.
Yeah. Yeah. The soundtrack is so good. The art
Yeah.
style is so good. The colors,
Yeah,
the
it pushes
mood,
emotion.
no dialogue, and it pushes emotion. No dialogue, zero dialogue. Just through art and music pushes the emotion.
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah, for
why don't we
those
recap kind of like what it is about? So,
yeah. So for those who don't know, it's like so this is like a 2D, the easiest way to say it, it's a 2D puzzle platformer with some light combat. And so that's like the base of it. It's an independent game by Comata Studio, which I believe is a Spanish Nomada, not Comata. Nomada Studios, which I believe is a Spanish development studio. This game is published by Devolver Digital, who publish some of the best indie games. Yeah, so this is headquarters Barcelona. Um, so this game, there's like kind of a prequel to it, a light prequel, spiritual, which is Gris or Gree, which was the first game from Nomada Studio. And this is kind of in the same vein as that. It's very similar, like thematically, like artistically. The only difference is Neva has combat in it. And so basically it tells you a story without actual any dialogue or anything. You are a woman who's some type of warrior who has some type of sword, and they're accompanied by this wolf-like creature that kind of helps you along the way with the puzzle, and you kind of have a relationship with. And as the game goes on, um, uh, the wolf gets bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And so there's like different seasons. There's a summer season, fall, winter, spring, and it takes place in like not like a post-apocalyptic world, but it sounds like a world which is like kind of return to nature, where there was some type of civilization or something that has collapsed, and everything has returned to some type of like natural, sort of like how Last of Us or Last of Us Part 2, you could see like the overgrowth of buildings and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's like that. And then you there's some type of evil like force in the world that is like corrupting some of the dead animals in the world and stuff like that. And basically, you just go along this game. It's a very short indie game, and you just do puzzles. But the music, like you said, Derwin, is spectacular. The art style with the colors are so vibrant, like these hand drawn, like, oh, it's just a 2D platformer, and I don't know. I was
Yeah.
hyped for this game, and it didn't miss.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't on my radar, and then you were talking about it, so I gave it a try. Like, the animations for the animals, I think, are the standout, along with some of the foliage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It almost reminds me of Samurai Jack. I don't know I don't know if you kinda drew the um,
Samurai
same idea,
Jack. I
but
don't know. No, I didn't.
the
But I know what
idea
you're saying.
yeah, the idea of, like, shadows, which
Yeah,
kind of remind me of what those beings are that you end up fighting.
I would say
Like
Samurai Jack's a little more on the cartoony side
yes,
of that
yes.
type of art style. Yeah.
But, female warrior with a sword. Yeah, like,
Yeah, yeah,
definitely a hit.
yeah,
I
it's
would recommend it.
literally, yeah, and like the barrier to entry, it's 27 Canadian dollars brand new on the PS Store. I think there's a physical copy out now. They didn't announce the physical copy until the day the game came out, which I don't know why. It's coming out a later date, but I think it's a little bit more the physical. Um, and yeah, it's probably, I think I'm almost done. I must be like about an hour away or less, and played for maybe 4 hours or something like that. It's between like a 3, 4 to 6 hour game depending on your play style. I am trying to like find all the collectibles and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm just kinda pushing through it. What do you think about the combat? Because that's, like, the newest added thing.
there was no combat in Gree. Um,
Did you enjoy it? Was
I
it
think
kinda a
it's.
little bit clunky?
I don't think it. I didn't find it clunky. It's obviously not very deep, but that's completely fine. It's a little bit when you get in the later stages of the game, the combat becomes more of like a puzzle itself.
Mhm.
So I don't want to spoil it for you, but you get some abilities, some combat abilities with your wolf, with Neva, that you kind of mix together with your combat style to tackle a specific combat segment. So in the beginning of the game, it seems like this straightforward combat where you just mash square, and then you just kill the thing you're fighting. But as you get later on in the game, there's like different things you could do to deal with different stuff. So I thought it was good. It's a little bit hard. I found myself getting beat up a few
So
times
so
there.
you guys will all see the gameplay that I put on there, and, yeah, there is definitely moments of difficulty, um, specifically with I think my annoyance was, like, with some of the flying monsters, but,
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, there's that
You'll
one
get
part where I died multiple times,
y-
and then once you finally figure it out, kind of yeah, it's a puzzle. Once you kind of figure out, like, the way to avoid their attacks, it
yeah,
just makes sense.
yeah. And some of the bosses in the later games they also get a little bit challenging.
Yeah.
But overall, I thought it was a good addition compared to Gree for adding combat to the game. And man, if you've played this game and you like it, I would go back and play Gris or Gree. I don't know. I should call the developers and ask them how you pronounce the name of the game. It's GRIS. That one's very beautiful too. That one has a little bit of a different thing. It's the art style is the same, but the theme of that game is not seasons. It's like colors. So the world when you first start is like black and white, and as you progress in each chapter, you add like red to the world, then you add blue to the world, and then you add like green to the world, and I believe yellow is the last color, and then the world like brightens up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a little bit different. There's no combat. You have like different abilities. Um, yeah, honestly, man, this game was a hit. I'm so happy I played it. I'm gonna finish it here and probably get the plat. Yeah, so that is Neva. You could get it on the PlayStation Store, 27 Canadian dollars, out now. And I'm not exactly sure where you could buy the physical, but I'm sure you could search it up. I don't know exactly when the physical is going to be released, but it's for sure up for pre-order right now. Yeah. Moving along, I have been playing a lot of Warhammer 40k Space Marines 2. I know you already talked about this. I believe it was 2 episodes ago. You completed the campaign. Yeah, I've been playing the game co-op with two of my friends. We did the campaign on the second highest difficulty together, and now we're doing operations. We've been doing all the operations on the lowest difficulty because operations kind of work a little bit different because you have like actual gear stats. And we have done 5 out of the 7 operations. The operations are meant to be like replayed with different weapons and gear, so you like upgrade your stats,
Yeah.
and then your like loadout also transfers over to PvP. We haven't played any PvP yet. Have you? I know when we talked last, you had played the campaign.
Yeah.
Did you play operations at all or PvP?
I only played the operations. I only did one of them.
Oh, okay, so you played the campaign, tried the operations, but you
Yeah.
did all that solo. Yeah.
Yeah. I just found like I don't have that many games that I don't have that many friends that play online games. So
Mm.
um yeah, I just found that the bots weren't very good to play the operations with. Like sometimes,
Yeah,
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 sometimes they just like do weird things and
yeah.
like
I guess I've never seen that play out.
yeah,
Yeah, because I've never tried with the bots. Yeah.
yeah, and then once you die like fully, you have to restart the whole operation.
Oh,
Yeah.
true,
So,
true, true. You
yeah, I
don't. Yeah,
was
there's no checkpoint.
exactly.
There's no checkpoint. Makes sense. What difficulty were you on the operation?
Oh, I don't think I even checked. I probably just left
You
that
must have
the
been on the
default.
lowest. You must have been
Yeah.
on the
Just
lowest
the
then.
default one. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for so those who don't know, Warhammer 40k Space Marines is it's like a third person shooter in the Warhammer 40k Space Marine universe. I don't know much about it. Derwin, we talked about it 2 weeks ago. You don't know much about the Warhammer
Mhm.
universe. The game to me feels like an Xbox 360 game in all the good ways of an Xbox 360 game. It's like, co-op shooter just for fun, like with your friends. Gives me a little bit of Gears of War vibes. Gives me a little bit of like Helldivers vibes, some way, in some shape or form.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, fun time. I This game originally wasn't on my like radar for this year. I knew it was coming out in September, and what I saw from it, I was kind of like, whatever. But one of my friends that I played co-op with, shout out to Mosey, he got me into it. He kind of hyped me up, so we went and got it. We played it. I think I maybe got a little bit overhyped for this. I
Oh yeah.
didn't. Yeah, I don't. I didn't particularly find it like. I don't know. I didn't find it that great of a game. I feel like there was also a lot of online hype about it,
Hmm.
and it was sold out everywhere. I was crazy that I even bought a physical copy for it. But the campaign is short, which is fine. I felt like the first 3 missions of the campaign were like meh. It was like the second half of the campaign that got interesting, and
Yeah.
then even then, if I
Honestly,
skipped this game, I wouldn't be disappointed ever. I feel like it's like a 7 out of 10. Now, the caveat is I haven't finished all the operations. I haven't done any of the operations on the harder difficulty, and I haven't played any PvP. So maybe those are gonna like save it for me. But right now, I'm kind of like lukewarm about it. I
yeah.
give it like a 6 or a 7. It wasn't my best gaming experience of the year. I don't think I would have enjoyed this game if I was playing by myself. I think because I was playing co-op with my friends,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a little bit more.
I mean, I enjoyed
So
the campaign for the most part. The story is a little bit like, kind of goes over my head because I'm not familiar with the whole
yeah,
situation. Did you find it the same way for you in terms of the story?
I mostly ignored, like I understood the main story beats,
Yeah.
but the details were kind of just went over my head.
Yeah.
Like I feel like maybe I don't know if it was I wasn't paying attention enough or if it was Warhammer related stuff that I wasn't catching.
Yeah.
But like how he's the guys. By the way, Derwin, on the episode that you talked about playing this game,
Yeah.
you called the main character tinnitus. Tinnitus. Do you know what tinnitus is?
Yeah, it's the ringing of your ears.
Yeah. His name is Titus. Oh my
Cle-
god.
Clearly
My
didn't pay
friends point
attention to the
my
story.
friends pointed it out to me. They're like, dude, your podcast buddy
Close
called the
enough.
guy tinnitus. Yeah, so Titus, well, he's serving with like the black whatever, or he was like in trouble with something, and now he's back, and they turned him to
Yeah,
Frankenstein.
yeah. He probably does
I
have
was,
tinnitus.
he probably does have tinnitus. Now that you mention it, yeah, I don't know. It wasn't anything that really blew my mind.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
I am kind of surprised by the hype. I was
yeah.
like, this game's good, but
Honestly, the
everyone
thing
was
that got
into it.
me the most hyped was when you get your jump gear, your flight gear.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Oh
few missions
yeah.
where you have. So there's a class in operations that always has a jump pack.
Oh man. That's
There is a
definitely the
class
class to
in.
play. That thing is like
Yeah.
the sickest
Oh man,
gameplay.
there was a class in operations that I played last night that has a grapple hook. That's not even in the campaign. Like you never pick that up or have that in the
Oh,
campaign.
what
But
a
the grapple
waste.
hook, you basically grapple towards enemies and like do this like
Yeah.
kick where you kick them. Yeah, yeah.
Man, they're
Yeah,
missing
I,
out,
I
I
mean, if
guess.
this is yeah, if you're like into that 360 kind of era of games, we don't really get games like this anymore. I
Yeah.
say it's for you. I don't know. I just thought maybe the $90 Canadian price point for a brand new game did feel a little bit steep. I
I
found
mean,
myself actually like wanting to go and play Helldivers 2
oh
after I
yeah.
played a little bit of this. Yeah, and I was like, Helldivers 2 is like $50. This is like a full. I know they have a lot of content updates coming out, so
Yeah. I think it is still worth the replayability, right? Because it's $90, but then you play the campaign with your friends, then you play
mm.
the operations with your friends, and then now you can do PvP and then whatever new content, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
that is a
They do
lot
have
of
a big
content for $90
they do have a big
nowadays.
roadmap. That's true. That's true. So I don't know. Verdict is still out. Maybe I'll see how I feel after I play the PvP a little. But I'm trying to literally rush playing this game because the same guys I'm playing with. I mean, we all said we were going to hop on Call of Duty Black Ops 6 when it comes out. That comes out in 5 days. So like that's why I'm kind of like, do I just sell my copy of Space Marines? Do I just give up on the idea that I'm actually going to play this anymore? Like, do I just finish the operations once? Maybe do a night of PvP and call
Yeah.
it quits? Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, the gameplay doesn't really change that much more, so
Yeah,
that might
yeah.
be something that you might want to consider. Plus, you still have Silent Hill 2 to play.
Well, that's the other thing. Silent Hill 2, it's been out for 2 weeks. I bought a copy, downloaded it on my console. I literally have still not booted that thing up.
You got to
I
play
in
you got to play in your white underwear in the middle of the
Yeah,
night
see what happens.
with
I've
headphones
been meaning to
on.
play it, but like I feel like between like when Neva came out, I was just kind of like I need to play Neva right now, and I played that. But then also because we
I
we
think
were
just the
we
barrier
were all
to
playing
entry for Neva is a little bit easier for you right now
for
too, right?
sure, for sure, because I could just like hop into Neva easily, play half an hour or whatever,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like because I'm playing with the Warhammer with the boys. It's kind of like they get on and they're like you're on, and I'm like the third, and it's just like yeah, well we'll play Warhammer, right? So I really haven't had a chance to even start Silent Hill up, and I really want to because especially it's spooky season. We've
Yeah.
watched like 4 or 5, maybe 6 scary movies so far. So
Yeah, yeah. You
yeah,
had movie night the other day, right? So,
I did. We watched all. what was it called? It's on Shutter. It came out this year. Um, Geez, what was it called? I wrote it down somewhere. Late Night with the Devil. So
Oh
this is,
yes,
yeah. Did you watch this?
I did.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yeah,
that's crazy. What'd you think?
I liked it a lot.
Oh, this was a really good movie. Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Like all the
yeah,
acting is so good, and it's like the perfect amount of like creepy and supernatural and like devil worship.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
it's a good time.
Yeah, so basically, it's like a talk show host has a special Halloween episode, and that basically goes awry.
Yes. Oh, so
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
I did
yeah.
watch a scary movie recently, Salem's Lot. For those that don't know, it's a
Salem's Lot.
vampire movie, based on the book that Stephen King wrote.
When did this came out this year?
Yeah, 2024.
Did you watch
So
this in theaters?
no, I just watched it online. It
Oh,
came out
okay.
for streaming, I think,
Oh, did
recently.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Um, yeah. We were watching another movie, but one of my friends had to leave, so we put a plug on it. What was it called? Uh, it was more of a thriller. I think it was about like some kind of serial killer who's. We watched like half an hour of it.
Yeah.
What was it called? Anyway, I forgot. I can't remember the name. We're gonna try and finish it. Yeah, I've recently also watched this Halloween. I've watched Cure, which is a Japanese horror movie, I believe from the 90s.
Mm,
We watched Kumati, which I talked about last time, which was the Malayalam movie, but it's not that one's really not that much of a horror. The setting is kind of like the sorcerer comes to a village and turns these kids into animals, but the movie itself is more of like a art
comedy.
piece. It doesn't really, yeah. No, it's not a comedy. We watched The Wailing. Have you seen The Wailing before?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that's like a classic Korean horror. And then we watched Save the Green Planet, which turned out not to be a scary movie at all. It literally, it's a Korean movie, bro. You'd have to watch it for me to even explain it. It's like this guy who like kidnaps people, and he's basically it's like the perspective of a serial killer movie from the serial killer. So he doesn't look bad because he's kidnapping people because
Yeah.
they're aliens.
Honestly, it sounds like
It's
a
like that's a
Captain Planet movie or something.
that was actually a comedy. That was a comedy. That wasn't a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We got a few more on the list. But yeah, no man, I haven't really had the chance to hop into Silent Hill 2. So hopefully after I beat like Neva and I get the platinum on that, that'll kind of be my single player game in between like hopping in out of Space Marines
Yeah.
and then presumably COD after that. Yeah. You don't have anything else on your list that you'd want
Uh,
to talk
I'm
about? You've
I'm
been
still
playing Ghost of
working
Tsushima.
on Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, I'm on the second act basically.
Yeah.
It's hard to like try and fit it in. There's so many like side quests and hidden things, and of
Yeah.
course, like I gotta unlock everything and go back to the first island and make sure everything's done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's why we're the slow runners, man. The
Yeah.
slow run cast, man. We're 100% in games. We're not trying to beat them in 12 minutes and 59 seconds. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. A couple other games that came out this week, but that I want to try. Super Mario Party Jamboree
Yeah. Did you
came out
buy a
on
copy?
Thursday. I've been meaning to. I want to play with my wife and my sister-in-law and her husband, but uh, I haven't. Yeah, we haven't had the chance. But I heard it was a good Mario Party
Yeah.
game. Yeah. So I do want to buy a copy. A Quiet Place: The Road Ahead also came out this week. That's a horror game.
Yeah.
I've been hearing like good stuff. A lot of
Have you heard about the
streamers, more
special
streamers,
gimmick with it?
where if you talk on your mic, the
Yeah,
beast
yeah,
hears
you
you.
can hook up
Yeah,
a mic and
yeah.
it'll monitor your surroundings. I mean, I guess
Your
if you're using a
surroundings.
mic like ours, like a dynamic
Yeah,
mic, there'd be
yeah.
no sound other than from
There'd be no
your voice.
sound.
So
Yeah, yeah. Squirrel with a Gun came out on consoles. It was already out for PC. Um, That one is, I don't know if you've seen that one. Kind of looks like Goat Simulator. You're like literally a squirrel with a gun and you like shoot things. Yeah, it's kind of like a comedy game, but yeah, I don't know. It was already out on PC, so it just dropped on consoles right now. Unknown 9 Awakening, which was that game I talked about last time on the list.
Yeah.
I said it was kind of double A. It has the girl from The Witcher. Yeah, the reviews weren't so great. That one came out on Thursday or Friday. No, Thursday, yeah. Yeah, reviews weren't too good for that one.
Yeah.
Sounds
Probably
like
a
it didn't
skip.
hit. Yeah, there's a Star Wars Starship Troopers game that came out, Starship Troopers Extermination. Kind of a bad year to come out when Helldivers came out.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't look as good as Helldivers, but kind of the same idea. And New World came out for consoles, the MMO. That was an Amazon MMO, I believe, from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of it for like big releases this week. And next week we got I have them written here. We have that Fear of Spotlight game from Bloomhouse Studios. Horror game with like PS1 graphics. I want to try that. And then Call of Duty Black Ops 6, that's the big one, and Shadows, Sonic Times Shadows Generations.
Yeah.
That's a big one too. Those are like
And
the
then
big
the
ones
week
for this
after,
week.
Horizon.
Whoa, bro. And
Or
Dragon
no,
Age.
that
That's
is
probably
that is next week, right? What's the date today? It's 20th. Yeah.
no. That's the week. That's the
Oh,
week after.
yeah, the week after. Yeah.
The week after is Horizon. Yeah. Anyway, folks, that's kind of it. I keep telling myself we're gonna keep this under an hour, and I think we're an hour and 40 minutes again, literally.
Maybe the promise just needs to be an hour and 40 minutes.
An hour and 40 minutes. Yeah. Maybe that's what we should do. Anyway, thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you next week. We're out.
Have a good one.
Thank you.